Typo opened up for a bunch of guys. Typo was like, at one point they were like the house band for Lemoore. It was like, you know, if a big national came through, Typo was opening up for them for a little while.
First tour we did
like
was
Trouble.
Biohazard and Exploited, and it was a complete crash and burn. Ended in Kansas, collapsed. Peter insisted on going home, and it was over because Exploited kept wrecking clubs, and dates kept getting canceled. You know what I mean? And we were losing money, and so that collapsed.
Typo opened up for what? Sabotage once.
We did Cro-Mags. We opened up for not Rob Zombie.
White Zombie.
White Zombie. I remember the first conversation we ever had to get a manager was at the old Ritz, and who was on stage? Pantera. I don't know. It was Philip with his mohawk. And, you know, we played with a lot of bands, man. I can't remember. It's been like 14 years of bands, you know.
Let's take a couple of situations. So here you are. You're at the old Ritz. Pantera's on stage.
I hit my head on the pipe, you know, down in the basement. Do you remember down in the basement? Like twice. Yeah. That I remember. Yeah. You know, we had a conversation with someone to manage us. It didn't work out in the end. Yeah, it was on. We ended up with Ken Creedy from Lemoore, which at the time was a good move for us. Yeah. And it was cool. It was kind of, I mean, you know, I would say I was like maybe 25. It's my first time out on the road. I was a kid in a candy store. It was a horrible tour, but I didn't care. It was like, you know, it was Vegas for me. You know, we're playing all these dives across America, getting spit at by all these punk rock kids every night, you know. My gear blowing up because I had to set it up every night, you know. It was a disaster, but I had a great time. I think we played maybe 60% of the shows we were supposed to play, or not even.
When?
Because the Exploited Road was late. They were late, they got arrested, they, you know. There was one night where, you know, they had a water balloon fight in the hotel room, I remember. We got thrown out of the hotel room, and they had to drive overnight, and their driver didn't get any sleep. And I remember I was in their van with them. And this guy, they had fired, or the original driver of their van quit because they were stun gunning him while he was driving on the road. So they just picked up this drunk guy from the club to drive. You drive for us. That's how he drove. And they kept him up all night because he had no hotel room. They got thrown out of the hotel room. I remember we were driving towards St. Paul, and he kept nodding out. We're going over to the side, you know, the thing on his eye. So I had to smack him out of his sleep, and lo and behold, probably one of the most irresponsible people in the world, who's the only guy in the entire van with a license, me. So I remember I had to drive them in to Minneapolis. You know, every night was like, it was a new episode every night with those guys. You know, this is my first touring experience. And then it only got worse from there, because then we went for our first European run, which there was, you know, bomb threats, you know, club windows being busted, the bus being attacked, you know, major, like the 6 o'clock news coming to interview us every night. We played one show out of, I think, 18. That was my first touring experience. That was Typo.
The good old days.
Typo broke out finally into the world. You know, we came back just like in total shame and ignominy. You know? And that was my first experience, but I had a great time. I drank right through it. You know.
Now, what was the complete bill?
It was a Typo negative and Pungent Stench. We ended up, and they lived up to their name. They were great guys and good friends of ours. You know, they were Austrians, man. And for the entire month and a half, they did not shower. But we had a great time together. It's weird how back then you can have a great time, but you know, we had a bus with no heat in December, you know, in Europe, in Western Europe, and I mean, you were actually breathing steam in your bunk out of your nose, you know. And still managed to have a great time. You know, taking baths in the sink in the bar, and yeah. It's some good memories, though. Yeah.
The struggling times, I think, are some of the best times.
If you're young when you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you're young when you're doing it.
Reckless abandon. You have nothing to lose.
There's nothing to lose.
The only thing that's important is having a good time that night.
And then actually, he worked for the band originally, and he
yeah.
drove. We had a show where we drove. This is stupidity. We
Palladium
drove from New York
to the
Palladium in LA to play with the Cro-Mags. You know, and this was
one show.
93 or 91.
91. one.
And he was one of the drivers. He was a terrible tech, too. He sucked.
I was a good driver, though.
Oh, you know, you only lasted about 6 hours before you started falling asleep.
No, I think the longest I went was like 13. It was like a
Then
good
we broke down in Barstow?
Barstow, California. We
In
broke
the desert,
down.
yeah.
Wheel bearings went, and they
This is before he was in the band.
they like seized onto the knuckle onto the spindle, and we're just stuck on on the highway.
For Halloween night, we were stuck
Right,
in
we were,
Barstow.
we were trying to get to LA for Halloween. We were trying to get there early to go to LA and hang out, like and have some fun. And the truck broke down, and we got stuck in Barstow for 4 days.
And then
Barstow,
there's
like 15 people in Barstow. And then we had
Ken Creedy and Josh were having a beef jerky eating contest all the way across the country, and it stunk so bad in the van. I mean, you were actually heaving every time one of them farted. The windows opened up, and you opened up the side of the van, and everything was getting sucked out. And it stunk, man. You were like, oh. Then we all got sick. Everybody got the flu, man. I was never so sick in my life until I got caught a flu, like from the other side of the country.
And then remember when we had me and Sal had to ride in the back of the truck from Barstow to Los Angeles?
Yeah, I remember that.
In the back of a 24-foot truck with the door closed and everything. We're just sitting in there with the gear.
That was the time we went to Vegas
Yeah, we went.
with the hotel room. And we all got drunk, and we wake up the next morning.
Wait, you jump on the gun, you're forgetting about the whole thing in L.A. When we stayed at the Sunset Beverly Hotel. Remember that sleazy hotel right next to Tower
Oh, it was
Records?
great. Yeah, the swimming pool, it looked like French onion soup. We walked in, and it was like these old transvestite hookers on lounge
And they just like open up your door and walk right into your room and hang out with you and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Right on the corner of the payphone, my girlfriend broke up with me. And I was like, ah! My girlfriend always broke up with me as soon as I rolled into L.A., all strung out.
We did it was like a little bit over 2 weeks to go do one show. On the way back, we stopped in Vegas, and then something else broke down. The headlight switch on
We
that.
went to see the con.
The headlights broke on the van. The headlight switch. So like, oh, we got to stay overnight, and we're stuck in Vegas. So we stayed in Vegas overnight, and then that
Put a
hotel-
quarter in the slot and drink.
Yeah.
And we woke up the next one. We all got drunk. My manager was on the road with us then too. And us three. It was me, you,
You,
and
me,
Sal.
and Sal.
We woke up in the
woke
hotel
up.
room.
Josh and
Vomit
Ken
all
got-
over the carpet. Nobody knew how this happened.
The
And the
door is ripped
bathroom
off.
door
Is
was
ripped
off the hinges and leaning against the wall. And you walked into the bathroom, and there was shit splattered on the ceiling, all over the shower wall. The shower curtain was gone. It was like as if
It
somebody
was-
backed up like a truck with their pants.
And just like unloaded a cannon.
And Josh and Ken Creedy, again, the beef jerky guys,
Yeah.
they got another room already. They were already in another
So
room
we
sleeping
woke
in.
up. We woke up and we're like, what happened in here? And where's Josh and Kenny? We were like, those guys, they split on us. Look what they did to the room. This
I
and
think it was
that.
Ken Creedy. Nobody knows who it was till this
Yeah,
day.
nobody's fessed up to it.
Who busted the door down and shit all over the ceiling?
That was Ken.
I think it was Ken
That
Creedy.
had to be Ken. And then Sal woke up. And Sal was drunk as.
He put the vomit all over the floor.
He woke up. Look what I did. Remember? He threw up all over himself, all over the
Now,
floor.
shit like
and
that,
everything.
this is a sea of stuff like that, in our past.
Then we went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Drove to Atlanta to do one show like a couple of months later.
This is
Another
when he
free
was still
fall.
not in the band.
Yeah,
All
I
the
wasn't
stuff
in
is when he
band.
wasn't in the
This
band.
is all before I joined the band, when I was working for the band. Remember they came in with the garage, the garbage can filled
Yeah.
with beer? And nobody else in the band drank except for me and him. Before showtime, I was completely useless.
You remember the dressing room doors? They had the opening band's name, and on our doors said Yanks.
And that radio station got shut down?
Yeah. We shut the radio station down because we were loaded on the air. I think it was their last
Well, the show was to help save them.
save the radio station, and we came in like a bunch of drunken, belligerent, cursing, and that's it. It was over for them. And then that was the night Peter took a quart of milk on stage. Of course, I was loaded as usual, and he's
Playing
all
his
over the
bass
place. And I went to
with
do,
a quart of
like
milk.
a karate run across the stage. I was on my ass and slid in the milk right up to his feet. We got that on film. Get that one on film.
And then we stopped at Myrtle Beach on the
Who
way
the
back.
hell-
That was,
Sprays milk around on stage? Only Peter. Who the hell drinks milk on stage?
that was the first year.